coming to you live from South Central Los Angeles, California. The worst part of Los Angeles, I must admit. It is a dangerous hood. That's where I'm coming to you from today. God is a good God. I honor him today. I give him the glory and the praise for all the things that he has done. It has been a rough day for me, but I won't complain. Every day that I wake up and I'm breathing, the fact that I woke up means I'm breathing, and I'm glad about it. And so I see so many people who are frustrated, uptight, seem like they're mad with the world, and I say, God, spend a day in jail, and when you come out, you will appreciate every day. The fact that I'm walking down the street right now is a blessing about it, because the rich get richer and the poor get prison. And I've been talking about that for quite a while now. And so I was able to reduce it to writing and to put it in book form and talk about OJ as well as the No Jays. And I encourage you to get a copy of that book, The Truth About OJ Simpson, Race, Class, Money, and Justice. Lots of people are talking about Donald right now. It's coming out more and more that he's psychologically unstable and that he has some severe mental issues that require psychiatric intervention. And I'm not just saying that jokingly. The more you listen to him, the more he talks, the more he tells you who he is. Dr. Maya Angelou used to always say, when people show you who they are, believe them. And they usually show you within the first 5 minutes. The minute you walk up on a guy who has $4 billion but sees the need to pretend that it's $10 billion, believe him. The minute you walk up on a guy who wears a toupee and pretends that it is actually his hair, believe him. The minute you walk up on a guy who has to sing his own praises, and my grandmother used to say, toot his own horn, over and over and over religiously like a broken record, believe him. He is showing you that there's something wrong with him. Believe him. Accept it for what it is and move on. When people show you who they are, believe them. And they usually show you within the first 5 minutes. This man is a psychological nutcase. There's something wrong with him. And he has consistently shown the American people that he needs psychological intervention. Here's a guy who went to a church service and they were passing out Holy Communion. And when the communion plate got to Donald, he tried to put money in it. Here's a guy who was trying to quote 2 Corinthians and called it 2 Corinthians because he's never read the Bible. And the reason he's never read the Bible is because he's not in it. I'm going to repeat myself to the point of redundancy. When people show you who they are, believe them. And they usually show you within the first 5 minutes. Donald needs help. Some people think that he basically just needs a bullet to the head. I do not support violence, and so I cannot support that. But I will admit that it is frustrating to watch the way the media has and continues to give him a free pass. And they seem to hang on to his every word. And it has really taught me, it has been quite frankly instructive about the corruption of the American media and how quickly the media will sell out for ratings and for money. And Donald has been just a real study case for me as I've watched people like Chuck Todd, George Stephanopoulos, John Dickerson, folk for whom I had the utmost respect and considered to be journalists and real political pundits, if you will. And I've watched them take all journalistic ethics and simply throw it out the window and hang on to the words of a maniacal psychopath who is, according to Tim Mack's story, a rapist, and according to other reports, for example, as in the book America's Richest Pedophiles, which yours truly authored, he is a pedophile. So, the last thing we need to do is to give this man any credence and to give this man a new assignment and to give him the codes to the nuclear arsenal of the most powerful country on planet Earth. This is serious business. This is not a game, nor is it a joke. And so when we start talking about the codes to the nuclear arsenal of the strongest and most powerful country on planet Earth, we can't take that lightly. We have to be very careful about who we give those codes to. And it cannot be someone who is incapable of speaking for more than 60 seconds without telling you how great they believe they are. It cannot be someone who is incapable of telling the truth, who wouldn't know integrity if it slapped them in the face. We've got to be very concerned, and we've got to be very careful. We have to be wise in our decision-making process. We have to realize that we voted George Bush into office, and what has it cost us? Trillions and trillions of dollars in wasted money, wasted lives, wasted bloodshed, attacking a country, namely Iraq, that did not do anything to us in the beginning, and opening the doors to a war that never should have been fought in the first place, and trillions of dollars in debt, borrowing money from China to fight a war that should have never been fought. And George had the audacity and the temerity to look the American public in the face with a straight face. And his brother had the audacity to think that the American people would not forget what George did to us, and that we would not be remembered and reminded, rather, to stay out the bushes. And so, as you saw with a complete and utter failure of the Jeb Bush campaign, and he changed slogans and tried everything he could try. This guy started out with $100 million in campaign money and could not get traction. That is because the American people have a memory that is long. We're like elephants when it comes to our memory. The American people remember what George gave us, and they remember that we did not want that again. And so, I love the American people. And I know that even though it seems like we are dating Donald at this point, I strongly believe down in the city of my soul that at the end of the day, when it comes time to proposing and putting the ring on the finger, I don't believe that the American people will put the ring on the finger of Donald or elect him or give him a marriage and allow him to become the commander-in-chief of the most powerful military on earth. And so I am asking Americans to come together and be more vocal in our criticism of this maniac, of this pathological liar, and begin to talk about him on a daily basis, and to remember that we have to vote. We have to get involved. If the 99% would vote, the 1% would have no power. If the 99% would vote, the 1% would have no power. If you don't vote, you don't count. Vote as you please, but please vote. Register in record numbers. And let's go and send Donald back to his cave in New York City and allow him to look in the mirror and continue to hate what he sees, and allow him to continue to brag on a greatness that does not exist, and continue to sing his own song, toot his own horn, and try to make himself feel better about himself. What's up, my brother? That's what we need to do, because quite frankly, this election is serious. This is not a game. And I know that sometimes when you look at it on the news, it seems like it's sport and it seems like it's a game, but this is serious business. We can't play with this. We have to send a real message quickly, with all deliberate speed, and let it be known that we will not allow a psychopath to have the code to the nuclear arsenal. We will not allow a psychopath to be the commander-in-chief of the greatest nation on earth. Might I remind you at this juncture to go to your local bookstore or go online and look for the book, The Truth About O.J. Simpson, Race, Class, Money, and Justice. If you're interested in O.J.'s case, it's a great book for you. If you don't have any interest in O.J. whatsoever, it's even a greater book for you, because this book is not just about O.J. This book is also about No J. And this book deals with the criminal justice system in a very unique manner And it comes from experiential data from a person who has had an intimate experience with the American judicial system, and not just someone who's read about it, studied about it in college or school, and all that's fine and dandy, and it has its place. But there's something about empirical data and experiential knowledge that does something to affect, to anoint, and to season a writer's writing unlike anything I have ever seen before. So I am asking you, ladies and gentlemen, to get yourselves to the bookstore and get a copy of The Truth About O.J. Simpson, Race, Class, Money, and Justice. And I think that you will be glad that you did. I will offer a money-back guarantee. If the book does not elucidate the criminal justice system in a mighty way, in a special way, and in a unique way, I will get you your money back. Go get a copy of The Truth About O.J. Simpson, Race, Class, Money, and Justice by Sherman D. Manning. And the D stands for Don't Write No Bad Books. I write my books from my heart as well as my head. I give them the very best that I can, and I gave this book the best that I had, and I believe and I hope and I pray that it is reflected in the words that are on those pages. I attempt to set my manuscripts on fire. My goal as a writer is to take the 26 alphabets of the English language and set the manuscript on fire. I give it everything that I have. I pour my soul and my spirit and my heart into my writing. It is what I do. It is what I breathe. It is what I live. It is what I dream about. Writing, writing, writing. So if you want to find out about that writing, get The Truth About O.J. Simpson, Race, Class, Money, and Justice at your local bookstores, or get it on Amazon.com. Listen, if you heard this podcast today, would you be kind enough to drop me an email and just let me know that you heard it? Just go to ShermanDManning@gmail.com and say, I heard you, I heard you, I heard you. ShermanDManning@gmail.com, and just tell me that you heard me. Drop me an email and let me know about it. ShermanDManning@gmail.com. Go get the book, The Truth About O.J. Simpson, Race, Class, Money, and Justice. Tell your friends to go and get it also. And tell your friends to vote, 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 vote. If you don't vote, you don't count. Vote as you please, but please vote. If the 99% would vote, the 1% would have no power. If the 99% would exercise their power, the 1% would have no power. Sherman D. Manning. Keep hope alive.